Next News, breaking news.
Tonight, Ilhan Omar is under fire again, and this time the questions are simple, brutal, and impossible to ignore. How does a member of Congress go from a modest financial picture to disclosure figures showing anywhere from $6 million to $30 million and then turn around and say it was basically an accounting mix-up? In Washington, Democrats want you to yawn and just move on, but Americans who play by the rules are asking something very different. If you or I misreported numbers like that, would anyone call it just a paperwork issue? Or would investigators be knocking on the door? So this matters because the rules in the country are supposed to apply to everyone equally, not just to powerful Democrats with media protection. Families in Minnesota balance checkbooks down to the dollar. Small business owners get hammered by audits, penalties, and paperwork demands. Service members, retirees, and working Americans don't get to shrug off a giant financial discrepancy by saying, well, the ranges are confusing. But somehow in Congress, that excuse is supposed to pass. It's exactly why people are so fed up with the political class. And the political stakes are huge. Ilhan Omar is not some backbencher nobody notices. She's one of the loudest left-wing voices in Congress, constantly lecturing the country about ethics and fairness and power. So when serious questions hit her own finances, her own disclosures and past claims tied to campaign spending, the issue is bigger than a lawmaker. It becomes a test of whether Washington will protect one of its own again, or whether accountability finally means something under a Republican Congress and President Trump's America First era. And while Washington insiders scramble to explain away financial chaos, President Trump is doing what real leadership looks like by securing the resources America actually needs. This is breaking news from the White House. They just announced over $30 billion to secure America's critical mineral supply chains and named a specific Alaskan project as a key strategic asset for U.S. mineral independence. That's huge. You see, I've been to the Vizsla Copper drilling site myself, the one in Canada. I've held the core samples. I've examined the operation with my own eyes. And what's happening right now in Alaska, their sister project, it's bigger than most people realize. See, President Trump just unveiled Project Vault. Look it up. It's a $12 billion strategic minerals reserve designed to stockpile essential resources and keep America strong, secure, and independent from foreign control. Now, Vizsla Copper is right in the middle of this national push, and investors are starting to pay attention. If you want to understand why this matters right now, check the exclusive briefing. It's been prepared for you, but it's only for Next News viewers. It's linked below. And remember this, Vizsla Copper, write it down, trades in the U.S. under VCUFF and in Canada as VCU.V. And we thank them for supporting our work here. Now back to the story the Democrats wish would disappear by tomorrow morning. This is the part that makes Omar's defenders very nervous. She was asked directly about those eye-popping disclosure figures, and instead of giving a clean, confidence-inspiring answer, she said the forms use ranges. The picture isn't complete, and it will probably just get adjusted. Probably? That's not the kind of answer that restores trust. That's the kind of answer that sends reporters, watchdogs, and voters digging even deeper. And once they start digging, House Majority Whip Tom Emmer, oh, he didn't hold back. Oh, he's back with more. Minnesota Representative Ilhan Omar caught money laundering, engaged in kickbacks, campaign finance abuse, and funneling donation money into her husband's investment firm. That's what Wall Street Apes posted. Oh, this is, I believe this is one of her opponents levying these accusations.
Minnesota's 5th Congressional District. And we called together this press conference in the wake of yesterday's article in the Minnesota Reformer about my opponent, Representative Omar. She paid her husband, Tim Minette, $3 million of campaign money. And the way her time in office has given his business access and credibility, as they've misappropriated more than $1 million in money from South Dakota investors. They left workers unpaid and found the funds frozen by the Office of Foreign Assets control the U.S. Treasury Department in charge of enforcing sanctions. Unfortunately, this story is just the latest scandal in a string of new stories about Representative Omar that narrow the focus on her and bring us further from the type of progress our district and our country needs around issues that affect the lives of our neighbors. Representative Omar has used her 3 terms in Congress, what many would consider the opportunity and honor of a lifetime, to divide our community and enrich herself in the process. Minnesota Reformer reporter Max Nestorak's article mentions at least 3 of the businesses that Tim Minette and his partner Will Haler started. The first was their political consultancy, which received an unprecedented sum of money from Representative Omar's 2020 race, where she raked in millions of small dollar contributions from across the country during the election cycle. $3 million was spent with E Street, and a large portion of that money went directly back into her own household. After that, Tim Minette and his business partner, Will Haler, started a winery, a decision made when one of their marketing clients apparently offered them grapes in lieu of money. The winery left its workers unpaid and is currently being sued for breach of contract, a bizarre arrangement where they agreed to return an investment of $300,000 with a return of $900,000 just 18 months later.
This was during her campaign. It's crazy because these accusations were back then, and now they're all out in the open. The allegations are serious: campaign cash, family enrichment, a business trail that raises a lot of questions. Now House Majority Whip Tom Emmer weighs in, saying Omar doesn't belong and Congress should face full accountability if fraud is proven.
Finances prompted House Majority Whip Tom Emmer to say she does not belong in Congress. Take a look.
Not only should her accountant be fired, but that girl should be fired, and she does not deserve to be in Congress. Quite frankly, if she is discovered to be involved in any of this fraud personally, that she benefited from it, even by her actions of promoting it and trying to resist investigations, she should be held accountable to the fullest extent.
Yeah. Oh, it gets better. Emmer didn't just call her unfit. He made clear fraud allegations. This is what was just posted today. He went before the cameras in the U.S. House of Representatives in the press room. And he posted this: Ilhan Omar's multi-million-dollar financial disclosure revision is just the latest on a long list of her questionable actions. She cannot escape accountability for long. Here's what he said.
Well, another day and another headline about a certain congresswoman's not-so-stellar record of honesty and competence. Last year, Ilhan Omar's financial disclosure revealed skyrocketing wealth. It showed a whopping net worth of up to $30 million, a 3,500% increase in wealth compared to just 2 years prior. Now she's trying to convince the world that she's actually only worth $95,000. Still quite a jump from 2 years ago, but in an eye-popping revision of her disclosure, Ms. Omar is saying the multi-million-dollar discrepancy was nothing more than an accounting error. In what world is a multi-billion-dollar correction to a person's financial disclosure considered normal? Perhaps this member's accountant, perhaps Ilhan's accountant, is a graduate from the Quality Leering Center. Either way, this about-face shows incompetence at best and a cover-up at worst. But this is just the latest in a long list of head-turning stories relating to this member from Minnesota. Ilhan cannot escape accountability much longer. Investigations are ongoing in House committees. The Trump administration has waged war on fraud. Her ties to convicted feeding our future fraudsters are well documented. And her defense of these criminals who stole billions from hardworking taxpayers makes it very clear where her allegiance stands. Make no mistake, if Ilhan Omar is discovered to have been involved in any or to have benefited in any way from any fraud, she must be held accountable to the fullest extent. And by the way, that includes marriage fraud. I yield to our leader.
Oh, I'm so glad he brought that up. I'm so glad he brought up the brother lover. So after Emmer lays out the case, Ilmar gets asked on the Breakfast Club about those figures.
Said you reported a net worth between $6 million and $30 million, and they said your 2023 disclosure was roughly $40,000, between $40,000 and $250,000.
Yeah, but they're not net worths. They're like the asset things for the companies, and so I don't know what percentage of it my husband actually has investment in. Like that's not, you know what I mean? It's not a full picture of the numbers in the way that it is presented in the document, because in the documents we have to do ranges and we have to like report in a way that is not detailed. It's not like your tax return that you're submitting for the public record to see.
But that is a big increase, though. So you could understand why people would ask questions.
Yeah. But I'm pretty sure it'll get like adjusted at some level when those ranges are looked at.
Look at her body language. I'm pretty sure it'll get adjusted. She's like pushing herself away from the table. Oh, she knows she's totally burned up. Burn up, girl. Yeah. They're just ranges. Okay, so how do you calculate a range between 6 million and 30 million, and then readjust it down to 95,000? That's a pretty big discrepancy, wouldn't you say? Oh, she's panicking. She's freaking out. She knows the game is over. Her wealth's actually between 18,000 and 95,000. Quite a big difference, Ilhan. So Emmer's point cuts right to the heart of it. It's not about a typo or a form or an awkward interview. Critics say it looks like a pattern. First, the revised disclosure, then the questions about honesty and competence, and then the larger cloud of allegations surrounding campaign money, consulting payments, financial relationships, marriage fraud. Now, to be clear, allegations are not convictions, and due process matters, but accountability matters too. In any normal job, if millions disappear and appear on paper, alarms go off immediately. The establishment's real fear is not that people will ask rude questions, it's that regular Americans will realize the system's been protecting politically connected Democrats from the kind of scrutiny everyone else gets. You see, that's the real scandal. So here's the bottom line. Ilhan Omar owes the public clear answers, not polished excuses, not accountant blame shifting, and not the usual media cleanup operation. If nothing improper happened, then show the facts and let the chips fall. But if there was fraud, abuse, or deception, then the full weight of the law should apply. Equal justice cannot be a campaign slogan. It has to be real. Under President Trump, the country is done rewarding arrogance from the political class. Americans want transparency. We want consequences. We also want leaders who remember that they serve the people. If you agree, share this report. Subscribe and drop your answer below. Yes or no? Should every member of Congress face automatic investigation when multi-million-dollar disclosure errors suddenly appear? Also, text raw feed to 844-840-4963 to beat the algorithm and get direct updates to your phone from me. And check out the Next News merch shelf below this video. Stay loud, stay fearless, and keep fighting for the truth.
The system controls information. Information control is power.
They don't want you to see this.
The truth only survives together. They don't want this. Share this now.